NASA. Wait. NASA. The Gov. Yeah. Alright. So we're here to understand Climate.Nasa.Gov. I know you have come for such a thing, because why else come on a video named Climate.Nasa.Gov? You're not going to try to do such. So, real fast, you may be asking yourself, what the hell is Climate.Nasa.Gov? Well, it's a free website. Of course it's free. How stupid am I? It's a free resource for us as just anyone with internet to be able to go and see any live report over climate change? Would that be the best classification of this? Over climate events, and they go over very great and fun resources. They have articles right on the top. They just won 4 Webley Awards. If you don't know what that is, neither do I. Web Awards, I believe. And the more important thing that I'll keep in track is all the live reports of the carbon dioxide, the global temperature, Arctic ice minimum, ice sheets, and sea level. Now, some of y'all may be like, AR, why are you talking about this? You know, with the whole corona, with the Black Lives Matter, climate is on the backfield. We're doing amazing. Oh my God. Like, AR, our carbon outputs are all-time low because of corona. Yes, but it doesn't stop. It never stops. It always drops in emissions whenever it comes towards economic crashes, which we have experienced one of the biggest ones since almost near the Great Depression or the '08 crash. And even in those moments, everyone's carbon output decreased for a certain period. But it matters what we do in these moments in time and keep on pushing forward to try to see what are the best possible options for us and to keep on understanding more information. As I believe, education is probably one of the best ways to keep pushing forward on this path. Whew. And what a crazy path it is. With all this other crazy shit going on. In the end, carbon, the whole global warming thing, everything doesn't stop. It keeps on going. At this moment in time, I should play the dark, depressing, sad music, but saying there's still hope. It's always there, and we have been pushing it since the 1965 or 1969, and it's getting only worse. But with you, we can do this. Hope is something we should know. No, the sad music is like fucking ridiculous. Of course we know there's hope. Of course we are fucking gonna push forward. We're fucking humanity. What the fuck else do we do? Like, in the end of the day, intelligent species and all, that's the main reason we were able to push the world to this limit. The world itself always goes through a natural climate cycle, no matter of with our doing or without. You'll hear that in some climate deniers, BS argument about the natural, like, giving up and down curve, the sun, natural heat from how close we're getting to the sun, all these things. All disproven in our great Climate.Nasa.Gov website. We go check out, let me see, causes should have a decent amount. Here you learn a little bit more about the greenhouse effect and why it's so important. The whole greenhouse idea is one of the main pushing forward ideologies that make the climate so bad. It's the main idea theorem. I think it's proven. So theorem that we have. So if you do not know the greenhouse effect, I'll state it in simple. It is the sun giving out national, my Americans kicking in? No, it's giving out this natural heat. It pushes towards the earth. The earth, as its own little feedback loop, it uses the water, take up most of that heat, reflects some of that heat, absorbs it with all other kinds of ways, be it pavement, heat island effects, so on and so forth, and sends it back up. Now, with the greenhouse gases and the greenhouse in the atmosphere, I fucked up. Should I just keep it going? Fuck it, we all fuck up. Alright, so now let's restate the simple version, super simple version. Sun, hot, shoot heat waves towards earth. Earth has water, reflects it back, and also takes up majority of it. But with gases, be it carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, water vapor, which is one of the biggest ones in our greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases, and methane, which is one of the most dangerous ones that comes towards how long it has a half-life and can stay in the greenhouse gas. But as we can see from Climate.Nasa.Gov, one of the number one things they have incorporated in their live reports is carbon dioxide. Now, why is that carbon dioxide so important? More than the nitrous oxide, and I said water vapor being one of the main things. Well, it's because carbon dioxide is what we are producing through our fossil fuel burning. It's intense fracking, tar sands, and those two main ways of extracting fossil fuels doing more carbon output than it would do regularly, causing its own anthropogenic warming. This is what is truly detrimental to all of it, and how if we do some of those and take a step back, as we should in this moment in time of humanity, even with social movements, because corona, it should be good. Because if we look on the website themselves, they also have under another page called How Do We Know Climate Change? How do we know? Thank you, NASA, for telling me. Well, we can know because look at this fucking graph. It's crazy, man. It's like peaking at the 1950s, the second industrial revolution, if I'm going to be correct. And from there, that's when fossil fuels became the main source of our trade, our overall economic growth, and the golden age of that century. Yeah, century. Deadly though, because at the end we're only a species living on this earth, and we are pushing this to way past its normal lengths. Anyone can probably see or understand, because this, as the ice ages and as the climate always changes, is something that is unforeseen. The earth has not seen this. That is fucking crazy. If you don't think that's fucking crazy, you may be a little crazy. But it's okay, because I think it's fucking amazing and badass at the same time. So maybe I'm a little crazy too. We could be crazy together. Let's be crazy together. Let's gain some knowledge and be a little crazy. Because next, we could look at this, how it's affecting the oceans. We all know, and we all heard, like the sea level rise of the oceans. I believe one place in Paris or France or Venice, one of them, they go up every single couple centimeters every year from this constant Arctic ice and natural rotations of how that coastline is formed. Terrifying, I would say. And then we also have the ideas of all the other effects. Like, I haven't called it out, but our main homie, the ocean, he's always taking up most of all the heat that is getting radiated back down into our greenhouse effect. And if it wasn't for that type of suction of heat and distribution of it, it would have been spreading all over the land, and we'll be having even more crazier wildfires, even more crazier droughts and extreme conditions, of which this is causing in the weather patterns, making the, therefore, climate change. But our main homie, he can't do too much because he's always there. He's always trying to suck it all up. But too bad he is, like, next door neighbor is glaciers. So therefore, with his warming effect and him taking up, I say 0.4 of degrees Fahrenheit, it's causing a glacier surge as it pulls out and under and making the ice slowly melt and recede into the water, causing, Venice, or that place to go up in sea level rise. That place, the coastline one. Yes. Now, as I will state here, I actually don't know what other questions I had. Yes, climate. How do we know it's changing? Yes. Oh yeah, through a little bit of science, magic, and mainly science, we have the climate time machine here on the Climate.Nasa.Gov. And from there, you can show the actual effects of how the climate is slowly changing, and how the things that will contribute to the climate, or things that will get affected most by the climate, are getting changed. We see the thing we see almost every single year, where it talks about like the sea ice, and we can watch the Arctic slowly melt away at year by year, and you think, wow, what the fuck? And we go to the carbon dioxide meter, where it shows just for 2002, and as we slowly go year by year, and think again, what the fuck? And last we can look at the global temperature, and yeah, not much changes there either. But If we continue on the global temperature, we can see on the live reports where it has that little curve which follows the sun's guiding path of radiation heat. I believe I'm saying that wrong. Let's double check. Sorry, the solar activity as they describe it in temperature overall. We, as natural people, can look at a graph. We can all look at a fucking graph and understand, hey look, this is bad. Hey look, this is changing. Now if I cover like half this graph, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but if I cover half of it, be like, yeah, that looks pretty active, you know? The solar activity, temperature, they seem pretty relative, yeah, and then as we slowly go, it's like, no. Yeah, because that's all from the anthropogenic human causes that we have been producing more and more and more and more to cause it to rise in an upscale temperature, causing, therefore, climate change. Because now with these upscale temperatures coming from weather patterns being changed in its own self, and a long extent of a weather pattern being changed is climate change. This is one of the most important things we should try to understand, is the main difference between weather and climate when looking at this idea. It makes you appreciate the weather and the outside a little bit more, because as Mark Twain said, climate is the weather that we predict. Weather is the weather. Well, I am not Mark Twain, so I don't fully quote him right, but I believe it's something more or less on that climate is what we predict and weather is what we get. And that extent of weather, throughout that time and throughout a couple months will be a climate for area. This is always judged on years of how that area is, and on the most natural fact, climate is always changing. Doesn't matter if we're pushing all these gases up, it just means we're changing it really fast. Upper scale scientists are baffled and confused. It's just what it is. But it always is going to be changing from the natural patterns that change within. This should not be an argument point. This should just be an understanding. And I keep on ranting on these topics. So, weather. What we got outside? Weather. What outside for a long time? Summer. Winter. All those good ass seasons we always have sometimes here and there. Before the climate started changing. Climate. There. Alright. Now, I look at these reports. We see that, as I was talking about with the scientists, unanimous on how we believe this is a consensus. Shouldn't put we. I am not a scientist. I'm a fool. I don't fucking truly study these things besides my off time of topic of I was perplexedly bored and I thought it would be a fun thing to truly understand the earth and its standings. Don't ever take my word for anything on this moment in time, and I truly will say that you should look into all the resources that I will provide in the link down below. It's actually a fun read. They make it amazing. And if you don't truly want to see the NASA version of it where they go all graph and analytical, they got you. They got the Climate.Nasa.Gov kids. I can't clap. And then here they ask the big questions. They tell you the exact same thing between weather, climate, atmosphere, water, main homie, the energy change, which is possible, where there's multiple routes to go in the energy change, which will be a topic and video for its own right in self, and how it affects the plants and animals. That's us. In the end, we're all the species. So we can't just forright think that we can just keep on producing all this stuff because we are a more intelligent species than others. We are still affecting the planet in some way, shape, or form. Even in this crazy time, be it with all this opportunists rioting and protesting, we're affecting how people are seeing things and the fear-mongering of such, which isn't a bad thing, because in the end of the day, well, fear-mongering is pretty bad. It's pretty fucking shit. But the protesting and us being able to use our idea of freedom of speech truly point out the stupid, ignorant, and what is wrong is actually one of the things that make us great as Americans, and all those other four rights that we were given by the natural laws that we have as the pursuit of happiness and so on and so forth. And as Climate.Nasa.Gov, well, they ask the big questions. I feel like we should never personally feel like we should not ask the big questions ourselves. But that's just my opinion. In the end, my name is ARdotJR. I hope you all have an amazing day. Oh shit. I forgot to show the images of change from Climate.Nasa.Gov. Huh. Huh.